There we go. Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Aklon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It is Thursday. Hopefully, the internet holds today. It would be a great help if it held, because we have a lot to do. We have a lot to discuss, not just Hogwarts Legacy, which obviously I want to play, but like actual shit that needs discussing. So I'm really, really looking forward to today's stream. We got some WoW news, some Blizzard news, really, and then also some lore stuff that needs to happen. Voicey, how you doing, fam? The Dark Lord, how you doing, fam? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to have all of you here. How you guys doing? What's up, Dark Lord? You said my name in all caps. What happened? Ferorius, 44 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have power, so not allowed to complain, all things considered. I mean, you could still complain. Electricity is bog standard in the rest of the world, right? That should not be cause for celebration when you have the one thing that the rest of the world pretty much takes for granted. So I would still allow complaining if you wanted to. Ferorius, how you doing, fam? Digital Pope, how you doing? Very happy to be back with all of you. Let's really hope that the internet holds out today, because we do have a lot of things to cover and a lot of things to discuss. I am from the rest of the world. Voicey, wait, where do you live? I thought you lived in South Africa. I don't know why. Why did I think you lived in South Africa? It's weird. Nombot, how you doing, man? I'm good. Just covering some WoW stuff, like brand new WoW lore and stuff that might be introduced in 10.7 that I think is quite interesting. We have the Bane storyline that we don't know anything about yet, but I think that's going to be really cool. So I'm really looking forward to at least learning about that. Although that's not what we're going to be covering today. Oh man, I can't wait for some Bane info. Yeah, the Bane stuff, we just don't know anything yet. I've been looking all over. All we know is that there is a quest line involving Bane. And we know that it probably has something to do with the Centaurs. Because the Tauren and the Centaurs hate each other. But we don't know anything other than that. So there's no point in us even covering that. Instead, we're going to be covering Nalfarian has a sister. Spoiler. Or perhaps has a sister, maybe has a sister, which could be, like, actually a bit lore breaking. To be honest, like, it could break the lore. So we'll have to wait and see. Hope he doesn't just sit around this time. Oh, shit. Demorthus with the tier 1 sub. Dude, welcome to the most degenerate channel on Twitch. Very happy to have you here, fam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope he doesn't just sit around this time. No, I think this is his story now. Might be copium and insanity, but I'd like to see us slaughter the Titans. You and me both, man. You and me both. I would be so up for a storyline like that. Dude, yesterday I wanted to say sorry. I wasn't meaning that you believe old gods were void. I misunderstood what you were saying at the time. No, but don't apologize. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. You're more than welcome to push back in this channel, and, if you push back and all we did was misunderstand each other, I don't expect an apology for that. I don't even know why you would need to apologize. You handled yourself with grace. I don't think you did anything wrong. So thank you for the apology, but it really isn't necessary here. Out of every piece you've mentioned, my biggest hope is for a possible return to Broxagar, seeing as you said his death was never finalized, only inferred. Well, yeah, so Broxagar, the last we see of him is through the portal, and him standing on a corpse of demons, like on a mound of demon corpses, slaying demons, and obviously facing off against Sargeras. But that's it, right? We never actually see Broxagar die. So there is a chance that Broxagar is still alive, although if Broxagar is still alive, he's not having a good time. Like, he's been trapped in the Twisting Nether with Sargeras. So he's definitely not having the world's greatest time. I've watched since it was Fat Fuckers Club, and love your contented. Hey, bro, I'm very happy to have you here. For that fucking long. Holy shit. Nice, bro. Very happy to have you here. You know, gotta celebrate the old timers. But no, I welcome anyone's opinion here, and if someone disagrees with me, that's perfectly fine too. I don't claim to have the answers. I just like, you know, talking about shit, and I like looking for the answers. That's exactly what would make his story so cool. You see Illidan being all angry at Sargeras only for Brox to go hold my beer. I don't know. Because that's still assuming that we don't like Sargeras. Do we know if we don't like Sargeras, though? Because I'm not entirely sold. I don't think Sargeras is necessarily the bad guy. I know, that's going to piss off a lot of people. A lot of people are like, oh, what are you doing? But I don't think so. We can dislike him even when he isn't a bad guy. Yeah, but I genuinely don't think Sargeras is a bad guy. Everything we know about Sargeras, everything that we've been told about Sargeras, comes from the mouth of the Titans themselves. They were the ones who told us that he wanted to destroy all life within the universe. They were the ones who told us that he hated everyone and wanted to kill everyone. What we've seen from him is not necessarily that. It's all, at this point, up in the air. I don't think Sargeras is necessarily the bad guy. We're not so fast. We're not so fast with what? Isn't he the same as the Jailer, but with foul, not domination? Not necessarily. Again, what is actually known about Sargeras' motivations? The actual. If I asked you, if I pushed you now, chat, and I said, okay, name Sargeras' intentions. Tell me exactly what they are. The truth is you can't. None of us can. Because we don't know. We've never actually spoken to Sargeras. We don't actually know what Sargeras' plans are. All we know about Sargeras comes from the Titans. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that's problematic. The story from Thrall, where he tells the story of Duratan and Ogrim, and the stories from Velen and their corruption make it quite clear. No, it doesn't, Voicey. It doesn't, because, again, you're looking at it through the lens of mortal understanding of good versus evil. You have to look at it through the lens of what does a god view as good and evil. If you're a god, what does it matter when you corrupt an entire species? Because all that's really important here is the conversation around motivation, right? So what exactly is it that Sargeras is fighting? That's what's important. I don't like the things Sargeras made his lieutenants do, like Archimonde, kill Cenarius' father, and kill Jaden persecuting his own people, but that does stretch his responsibility of guilty versus that of others, if that makes sense. Well, again, I think there's a... So, let me explain it like this. I think there's a problem that we often have when we talk about, like, morality, and specifically in story tropes, when we talk about morality, because obviously as humans we have very specific moral terms and very specific moral understanding of things. So good is good and evil is evil, and if you do things that Sargeras have done, then that we describe as evil. But can we ascribe the mortal understanding of morality to a god? That's really the question we have to ask ourselves here, because in relation to us, Sargeras really is a god. We are largely insignificant to Sargeras. So imagine this for a second. let's say that you had this enemy, okay? You were a general at the forefront of an army, and on the other side of this field, there's your enemy. And if this enemy wins, the world dies. So this enemy will destroy the whole world. But in between you and this enemy, there are millions and millions of ants and their homes, ant mounds everywhere. These are their homes. If you go to war here, you will destroy their entire ecosystem forever. You will kill all of them. Will the ants even enter your consciousness as you're making your decisions? The answer is obviously no. You won't even give the ants a second thought. They don't matter because your enemy is on this side, you're on this side, your enemy threatens to destroy the entire world, you have to stop them. The ants don't matter. And this is where morality from a god's perspective comes in, and that changes things, right? So for Sargeras, did he corrupt the Draenei? Yes. Did he turn them into his own personal army of fuckery? Yes. But can we look at it and judge it as mortals would judge it when he isn't mortal? He doesn't care, right? Not for us. What he cares about is the ultimate enemy on the other side. He needs to destroy that enemy. This is why I don't think anyone, not even the jailer, is a bad guy in World of Warcraft, because again, they look at the universe, at the cosmos, on such a grander scale. To them, it's sort of like this argument of, should you kill 1 million people in order to save 1 billion people? Right? That's that sort of argument. Is it okay to sacrifice 1 in order to save 100? Is it okay to sacrifice 1,000 in order to save 100,000? And I think almost always, whilst being one of the most difficult decisions one can make, it is the decision that most people will make, is sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed as long as what you're saving is greater than that which you are sacrificing. And therein lies the rub. But for a creature like Sargeras, for a being like Sargeras, if truly the thing that they are fighting is this big bad evil within our universe, there is every reason to believe that he would stop at nothing. Even if that meant destroying all mortals, he would stop at nothing to stop that enemy. Because he understands that if that enemy isn't stopped, the mortals will die anyway, and everything else alongside it. Now, again, I want to be clear. The only evidence we have of Sargeras ever wanting to destroy all life comes from the Titans. The Titans in the Chronicles tell us that Sargeras wants to destroy all life in the universe. But remember, the Chronicles is a book written from their perspective, by their hand. So, how much of that can you actually trust? We don't know anything about Sargeras. Now, we'll see, obviously, where Blizzard wants to take this story, because right now, Illidan is spending all of his days watching over Sargeras, and there's no chance that they're not having conversations, you know, as they're sort of trapped in very close proximity to one another. And to the argument of Broxigar may emerge not as an angry servant of, or an angry foe of Sargeras, but actually as an ally. Grimfield, thank you so much for coming to say hello, bro, and sleep well, man. Very happy to at least have had the opportunity to say goodnight to you, man. No, never okay to kill or sacrifice innocent people, Akko. King Julian, you're not thinking. And Corneas, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, so, again, it depends. But I genuinely think it's difficult to judge gods the same way that we would judge mortals. It does feel a bit wishy-washy because in the Illidan novel, Illidan viewed world after world void of life, oceans of blood, he's worlds, things like that. And damn, I'm hungry right now. Demorthus, it's what Illidan saw. It's not necessarily what actually happened. It's what Illidan saw. Again, what we would need, I think, this is just my opinion, but I think what we would need is an actual line from the man himself. I'm not saying that Sargeras isn't a bad guy. Let me be clear on that. I don't think that Sargeras is a good guy necessarily, but I do think that Sargeras isn't the person that the Titans say he is. If that makes sense. I don't trust anything the Titans say, because the Titans always say everything with an angle. There's always a reason why the Titans would say something. And it doesn't mean that what they're saying, the opposite of that is true. So it doesn't mean that, because they said Sargeras is evil, therefore Sargeras is actually good. It really just means that it might not be, like, what they said Sargeras wants to do might not actually be what Sargeras wants to do. There might be a whole different layer there. What I will say, and this is perhaps on us, it is clear that whatever Sargeras wants to do, he's not taking our happiness into account. Okay? So this is where we can absolutely agree with each other. It's not like Sargeras is thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna help these mortals. No. Sargeras couldn't give two shits about these mortals. As far as Sargeras is concerned, he has a goal. He has an enemy that he wishes to defeat. And we are either tools or obstacles. If we are obstacles, we will be removed justly and swiftly. If we are tools, then we will be used. Now, for Sargeras, the easiest way to use us is through the foul, because that provides him a layer of control that he would otherwise not necessarily have. Because if he just allowed for the, for the Draenei to join and not corrupt them through foul, there's always a chance that they could sort of turn around and be like, nah, never mind, fam, I changed my mind. So obviously, once you do join, he does exert control by corrupting you with foul, and also giving you great powers as a result thereof. So yeah, it is definitely same goal as Zuval, different method. Zuval, domination, everyone does as I say. Sargeras, also kind of domination, but through corruption, rather than just domination magic. That's sort of how I view it, at least, if that makes any sense. I think so too. Oh yeah, sounds a lot like Sargeras equals Thanos. Evil means noble ends. Well, that's usually the best way to write bad guys, I think. Evans, how you doing, fam? Lobo the Merc, how you doing? I think writing bad guys, you should always try and find a human element within bad guys. Because I think that's what makes good bad guys good. Right? Just having a purely evil bad guy is risky. It's not that it can't work, because there is many examples. Well, there are many examples of bad guys that are just to their core bad. Voldemort is a good example of a bad guy that is just bad to his core. No exceptions. Not even his motivations, one could say, is for a greater good. But I do think oftentimes you run the risk of having a very one-dimensional villain. Where if you go the easier route and sort of give your villain a bit of a human undertone, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to write that villain. CCS, how you doing, bro? Exactly, Demolthus. The idea of having pure-blooded wizards, yes, I hope. Alderzin, well, the truth is, it's still what made Voldemort work is that what Voldemort wants is something that lies very shallow in the hearts of every human being. Right? The truth is that okay, so this is going to be very difficult to explain without like people taking great offense, but here it goes. Racism lies incredibly shallow in the hearts of man. In all men, all women, all people. For good reason. There is an actual biological reason why racism is so easily accessible within humanity. And really, it stems from tribalism. It stems from mine and enemy, right? So this is my village. Whoever isn't in my village may be my enemy. And dislike of anyone that isn't in my village usually helps me stay alive. Right? So historically, there is a reason why human beings have these in-group, out-groups. Doesn't mean it can't be overcome. Of course it can be, right? We have the ability to overcome racism. We have the ability to overcome tribalism. But these things do lie incredibly... They're easily accessible to almost all people. And what I think... What makes Voldemort such an appealing character as a bad guy is we all recognize that within ourselves. Right? Like, you can look at Voldemort and you can recognize why he's doing what he's doing, why his racism exists, why he hates mudbloods as much as he wants. And if you think about Voldemort, Voldemort is actually very much... this is actually very interesting. But Voldemort's very much modeled after Hitler. Voldemort's mother was Muggle-born. And Voldemort, of course, hated Muggles. Which is very similar to Hitler. All of the rumors we have about Hitler is that his mother was Jewish. And, you know, he, of course, hated the Jews. So there's a lot of similarities. And this is something, again, even though we don't like what is happening, we can immediately identify it and identify with it. Because we all have that capacity for it. And what makes you a good person isn't your ability to say, oh, I could never be racist. That doesn't make you a good person. What makes you a good person is saying, in spite of the ability to be racist, I am not one. Right? Because I have thought through my positions of thought, I have thought through my positions on other people, and I have realized that racism is an incredibly stupid way of looking at the world. Right? That's what makes you a good person. And it's something that I think, again, writing a character like Voldemort is risky. You have to be very fucking good, and you have to really hope that it lands, because it can fall flat so easily. Because you're writing an all-bad character, right? There's nothing good about this character. For example, if you were to write a Hitler, there's very little chance that that character... Like, that is a very difficult character to write. You're going to have to be very good at writing a sort of quote-unquote Hitler. Because this is an evil character to its core. There's no humanity in this character. It's very difficult to find anything to relate to within this character. I think the way J.K. Rowling did it was actually quite genius, because she started Voldemort off not as this all-powerful evil wizard, but as almost pathetic. Think about it. In the first book, The Philosopher's Stone, Voldemort is so pathetic that he can't even exist on his own. In the second movie, The Chamber of Secrets, Voldemort uses one of his Horcruxes in order to try to come back to life. Right? Because again, he is so pathetic that he himself cannot exist. This gives the audience this sort of build-up moment, this opportunity to see the character as flawed, as failed, as weak, and then to finally see the character as coming into their own and being incredibly powerful as a result of it. And that's why it worked. You compare that to Thanos. Thanos started off as ridiculously powerful, at least from what the audience saw. The first time we saw Thanos, he was already stupidly powerful, even before he got the Infinity Stones. So for Thanos to work, they had to give him a relatable reason. I don't agree with your methods, but I can see why you're doing it. And that allowed us to connect to the character. Whether you hate the character or not doesn't matter, but all characters have to be connected to. If the audience cannot connect to a character, the character dies. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, I do think that for characters like Sargeras and characters like Zuval to work in World of Warcraft, you need an overall... Natora, how you doing? Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Welcome back. I think you've been following... Like, you followed before, right? But anyways, welcome back. Blanket, how you doing? For these characters to work, you have to give them a human reason for us to believe in them. Of readers growing up with the books and Harry? Oh yeah, that's definitely something there as well, Aldazin. Oh, hyping up about him years before he actually showed up. Another thing that absolutely true. Of loss, like sacrificing Gamora, Sag, making the bad guy feel suffering, even if momentary. Yeah, I mean, all of these very good examples of great writing. And different ways of writing bad guys, which is ultimately, you know, a good thing. P. Diddley, how you doing, fam? Zucchini, how you doing? So yeah, I'm looking forward to how the story will play out. I'm looking forward to seeing where the story of World of Warcraft goes ultimately, because I don't think... It really seems like Steve Denuser and his team is trying to write a much deeper story than what we've ever had in World of Warcraft. It seems like they're really trying to revitalize the universe of World of Warcraft, considering all of our bad guys are gone. They really seem to want to try to build something new. Something that we can hold on to, if that makes sense. The Last Siege of Terra book is coming out this weekend. What's it about, Blanket? I mean, I know it's about the Last Siege of Terra, but what exactly, who features in this book? I mean, quickly Google. Oh. Alright, so we have the Horus Heresy Siege of Terra novels. Siege of Terra is a novel series which serves as the continuation of the Horus Heresy series by the Black Library. Following the release of the final Horus Heresy series novel, The Buried Dagger, in February 2019, all further entries in the series were part of the rebranded Siege of Terra label. It is the direct continuation of the Horus Heresy series and acts as the series finale. The Horus Heresy Siege of Terra consists of 9 main novels and an unknown number of novellas, short stories, and audio dramas. The first novel, The Soul of War, was released in May 2019. Shit. See, but I can't pick up these books yet. Because I'm gonna have to read the whole Horus Heresy before I can even begin to read these books, right? What do you thought of Dumbledore coming out? It seemed a PR retcon move, but actually rumor traced back to book 4 or 5 release time when he unmarried and loved to hang out with female teacher. Rotio, as far as I know, and don't quote me on this, but as far as I know, Dumbledore was always gay. They always. At least as far as I know, J.K. Rowling, she basically wrote him as gay from the start. I think she said so in an interview long before anything else came out. But don't quote me on this. But as far as I know, my brother's a massive Harry Potter fan. And he basically came to me long before the Magical Beasts series came out or movies came out. He came to me and he told me, "Did you know that Dumbledore is gay?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I've not read the whole heresy, but I am reading them. See, but I don't want to fall into just the middle of something. Because I don't know what would, like... Where do you get the novellas, by the way? Are they available free for download, or do you have to buy them? Knight of Grey. So there's 3 novellas in this. Yeah, novellas is usually short stories. Yeah, you have to buy them. Where would you get them, though? Are they in book form, or are they available for digital buy only? Lucid Ghost, how you doing, fam? On the Black Library website. Can you actually pick them up there? Oh man, fucking hell, can I spell? Jesus. Spelling, bro. What is it even? Digital only or in anthology in terms of books? It just pisses me off that they only print once and then never again. Getting started? What do you mean getting started? Is this how they suggest you get started with this? I'm guessing this is how the Black Library suggests you learn about the universe. As you start with Horus Rising, then you read I Am Slaughter, then you read The Talon of Horus, then Space Marine Legends Azrael, The Eye of Medusa, Legacy of Wolfen, Farsight Crisis of Faith. Wrong, and the fans come up with better lists. Okay, is it a lot of story in the White Dwarf magazine? I have no idea. I have no idea, man. Here's the novels. Quick reads. Less Than Human. It's not too expensive, though. What would they charge? Do they probably don't sell the whole Horus Heresy, do they? I don't think so. Yeah, no. They don't sell the entire Horus Heresy as a bundle. You have to buy it all one by one. But what would it cost to buy... Interesting question. What would it cost to buy... the whole thing? If you're looking for the newer Angron stuff, it's Arcs of Omen, the storyline. Arcs of Omen. Alright. So this is the Siege of Terra box. These are the ones you were telling us about, right? Solar War. The Primarchs each have their own book. I want to read this one. Lionel Johnson. So fucking badass. Sons of the Emperor. Would I even be able to buy this book? Only in ebook form. They don't have the physical book anymore. I wonder if they would ship the books Or if they would allow South Africans to buy this. I wonder. Something not from Black Library is generally cheaper in my experience. Yeah, there is a problem with that though. So let's say, for example, I wanted to buy Sons of the Emperor from Amazon, right? So let's do that. The Kindle title is not currently available for purchase. That's the problem. If I try to buy these books from Amazon, Amazon does not allow South Africans to buy the Black Library books on the Kindle. It is terribly annoying. It only allows me to buy the audiobook version, and I fucking hate audiobooks. VPN to bypass that, since Kindle linked to Amazon account, not necessarily geographic location. I could probably try. But it wouldn't be easy, but I could try. Shipping to where I live costs more than the actual book. Yeah, that's the same as mine, Albuar. That's the same for South Africa. Now, one thing that could make this better, we'll see. Amazon is apparently opening up in South Africa next year, or by the end of the year. Maybe that then makes it cheaper. If I were to buy these books off of Amazon, when Amazon has an actual warehouse here, and they're actually shipping from South Africa. So let's hope. To 40k, but yesterday Games Workshop make new lore and rule, allow a bunch of mercenary teams to be allowed to join other factions, even the enemy one, if they in same element power, lead to more diverse armies. Alright. I know that apparently Angron is going fucking ham right now. Like, I know a lot of people have told me the Imperium is in trouble, because Angron is apparently losing his mind at the minute, which is interesting to say the least. Margot, how you doing? Bunch of rats riding on Chaos Cat into battle. Hey, if it works, it works. Don't poke at it, bro. All right, let's get into the first. Let's get into the first story here for today, and it's not going to be. We're not going to start with a good one. We're not going to start with the lore. We have to start first with the controversy, because I would be remiss if I didn't cover the drama first. I see everyone losing their minds over this, so I thought I'd, jump on the bandwagon, if you will. So Activision Blizzard is ending work from home policies. Employees are expected to return to the office this summer. This seems to be part of a push by most of the tech companies to bring back their employees. A lot of tech companies have been doing this. I believe Microsoft is also in the process of bringing some of their employees back. We know that Twitter, Elon Musk, have basically said that no one will work from home. If you want to work at Twitter, you will work in the offices. And, of course, now Blizzard is following suit. To some extent, I fully understand where employees are coming from. And I get that employees are incredibly unhappy for a couple of reasons. And some of them, not all of them, are just, oh my god, I want to be at home and I want to work in my underwear all day. For some employees, you have to remember where these people live. Activision Blizzard's campuses specifically, are located in one of the most expensive cities in the US. Most people that live there do not live good lives on the salaries that they get from Blizzard. It is incredibly difficult to make things work. That's why you often hear from people that they commute in order to get to work. A lot of the Blizzard developers actually live in houses with 4 or 5 other developers because they can't afford to live on their own just because of pricing being that expensive. So when Blizzard started allowing people to work from home, a lot of those employees took this as an opportunity to move out of state, to actually leave California and move to cheaper areas with their families, and their entire lives were uprooted, because they were now working from home. And now that Blizzard are pulling people back to the offices, obviously that means that these people will have to sell their homes wherever they live now and move back to one of the most expensive places on earth. So you can imagine that for a lot of these employees, this isn't good. Now, let's talk about the obvious reasons why Blizzard is probably doing this. You see the picture on your screen right now? These are the Blizzard campuses. How much do you think these campuses cost? Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Right? These things are expensive. They have their own Starbucks in there. They have their own restaurants in there. These campuses are massive. And they're a source of pride for Blizzard. This is a company that started in a one-room office, and now it has this giant campus that is currently sitting empty. So, of course, there is that financial incentive to just go, look, we need to justify having these campuses, and we don't want to let these campuses go. So ultimately, we're just gonna bring everyone back because that justifies it. Now, Blizzard is saying that employees will only have to spend at least 3 days a week at the office, which seems to be like an entry-level thing. It's going to start with 3 days, and then very soon it will become 5 days. Now, if I were to speak on behalf of Blizzard, I will say this. There are plenty of articles like this one out there that basically shows how workers are more productive when they're working from home. They're seeing all these productivity increases across the board. What most people don't take into account is even in this article, they show that there are workers that don't get more productive. That there are workers that actually lose a lot of productivity once they start working from home. The problem with companies the size of Blizzard is usually you can't make rules for individuals. The rules have to sort of be applied across the board. So if you have 14 or 15% of your employees that really become unproductive at home, it's better to just bring everyone back, rather than deal with the old, okay, those 14%, you come back and the rest of you stay at home, that kind of thing. There's also the other side of it, which I know is just, it's a personal sort of thing and not necessarily indicative of actual research being done. But if I listen to my brother, my cousins, all of them working for very large companies, they all complain about the same thing. Productivity is very difficult. Not for them, but for the people that they manage. To get workers to actually work from home can be incredibly difficult. Because not all workers want to work. Once you're at home, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that you can keep yourself busy with. And a lot of people don't have that self-control to sort of sit down and be like, okay, wait, now is work time. We'll work now. And I don't know exactly how that would translate through different industries, but my mind, like my logic here suggests that different industries will be impacted differently based on the personalities that is drawn towards it. So when you have more artist personalities, which would usually be people that go into game development, there's a very good chance that they're not going to be able to motivate themselves as well working from home as they would otherwise. But I don't actually think that is why Activision Blizzard is doing this. Can any of you guess as to the real reason for this? And I'll read a tweet for you, just so that you may understand it. So this tweet says, "This is crucial because we are currently going through an inflation crisis that ABK has failed to assist with. Cost of living has shot up across the country and employees are feeling the strain, with several departments taking yearly effective pay cuts despite raises. To escape the pressures of rising quality of life and stay safe, employees have made cuts. They've moved further away from our offices in expensive cities, sold or avoided purchasing vehicles, and changed the way their household handles things like childcare and schooling. 2 to 4 is not enough time. 2 to 4 months is not enough time for the company to shift this stance, even if they were willing. Even assuming they are, it is not enough for those who made the hard decision to move away to uproot and return. Leadership isn't prepared for what is likely to happen. An exodus of talent as we find work elsewhere. Other jobs in the tech sector pay better and offer work from home, and it is clear our thoughts on the matter are irrelevant. What incentive do our employees have to remain at ABK?" Is it starting to become a little bit more clear as to why Activision Blizzard may be doing this? You have 3 ways in this world to get rid of an employee. One is to straight up fire the employee. And usually you do that when the employee is in the wrong and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. If the employee isn't in the wrong and isn't doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, the other way is to retrench them, which will cost you millions and millions and millions of dollars. The third option, and perhaps the most clever option, is you make life so untenable for that employee that they leave on their own accord. And I believe this is what Activision Blizzard is doing. Activision Blizzard is a massive company. Blizzard themselves employ more than 7,000 people. This is a company that releases almost no games every year. I can tell you now that a company like Activision Blizzard is gonna see major losses as inflation keeps pinching, as people start running out of money, as people lose more jobs. For Bobby Kotick, this is the perfect way to get rid of probably half of his employees without having to pay a cent. Doesn't have to retrench anyone. They're gonna leave and they're gonna find new jobs, and you're gonna be left with half of your employee, of your original employees, and that's just it. It's a risky game because you don't know who's gonna be quitting, but then again, this is where deals come in, right? If an employee that you don't want to lose come to you and be like, "Hey, I want to leave. This is my resignation," you make them a deal. Pay them more, come back, we'll take care of you. The employees that you don't care about, when they come in and say, "We want to leave, we don't want to stay here," cool, best of luck to you. We hope things go well for you. This is ultimately what I think is happening here. Companies around the world are retrenching people, constantly getting rid of people because they've grown so large that they're starting to feel the pinch of a worsening economic situation. This is just a nice way for Blizzard to kind of get rid of all of the dead weight, the people that they don't want within their company anymore. And it is gonna happen, as I've already said. You can already see the anger from a lot of Blizzard employees that don't want to go back to the office, and that maybe don't even live close to the office anymore. Of course, those people are going to leave because Blizzard doesn't pay well to begin with. So this is just perfect, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's true, but that's immediately what I think. Call me paranoid if you want, but I always think that there is some ulterior motive when it comes to these people. Someone like Bobby Kotick will do anything in his power to save a couple of cents. And if it means getting people to quit rather than having to retrench them, I think that's what he will do. Of course, I might be wrong, but that's my opinion on it. So, hopefully people understand that. Seems like a short-sighted decision, but I see the business perspective. Well, I don't know if it is a short-sighted decision, really. I think Activision Blizzard, I think all gaming companies are bloated as fuck. I think they all employ far too many people. I think Blizzard employs probably about twice, if not 3 times more people than what it actually needs. Big Men and Slapper, yes, but if you listen to what Elon Musk did, that's what he wants. I know someone that is a developer, let's say close to Twitter, and they've also had a ton of fucking developers apply to start working at Twitter. Because contrary to popular belief, there are people that like working very hard. There are people that they like working long hours. They really like their jobs and like the challenge of it. The risk is the low performers cling on because they know they won't survive elsewhere and the talent goes to places that accommodate them. Null Total Duck, but this is exactly where you... Remember, you still have choice. If the worker that you don't want to lose come to you and be like, hey, I'm going to leave, you can make them an offer, right? Offer them more money, offer them more incentives, more reasons to stay. So you can still control it, depending on, you know, how smart you want to be about it. Basically, Tofu. Yeah, basically. Look, there's people that love hard work. My dad is one of those people. He can't sit still. He's, I think my dad's 66 now, 67. He still works every day of his life. He still goes into the practice every single day of his life. He still sees patients every single day of his life. He wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's at work at 8 o'clock. He works until 6 o'clock, and then he goes straight to the farm, takes care of the cattle and the sheep and, you know, builds fences and stuff on the weekends. He doesn't want to sit at home. He would go nuts if he sat at home and just did nothing for a bit. So yeah, I don't, yeah, my dad literally loves to work. That's what he does. He enjoys it. He likes being busy. And also my dad sort of comes out of this old school line of thinking where life is suffering. And so the only thing you can do is embrace the suffering and just, you know, make it through it kind of thing. What's the superior jerk-off location? On the bed, laying down, or sitting down on the toilet? On the bed, bro. Like, sitting on the toilet just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Sometimes they just want something new to work on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a risky one, Akko. What's a risky one? Sitting on the toilet? Jesus, where are you aiming from? Why is it risky, Cesius? Is it? Do you mean it's risky to jerk off in bed? The Malthus, we're talking about where's the best place to jerk off? In the toilet or in the bed? Lying down or sitting up, effectively. That's the question. No, I think lying down in bed. You know, you have to be you have to be comfortable. You have to be in a comfortable situation with you know, with your thoughts completely unrestrained, as it were. Don't want to miss and sleep in it. But why the fuck would you miss? On the roof overlooking the front street? Yeah, no. I don't think that would work. I don't think that would work. Cesius, why would you... Like, oh my god, I'm not even going to get into it, but there are so many ways in which you can ensure that you don't miss and fucking sleep in it. Sound as good when you may see children on the way to school. Yeah, now we're getting into the let's get arrested portion of the stream. Uh, why the fuck socks? No, tissue, paper, like toilet paper. The fuck socks? No, you have to wear those socks again. Are you nuts? Like, Jesus. Holy shit. What are you doing? Like, no. No clothing. No, nothing that you have to use again. Like, use paper and throw it away afterwards. Fuck. I used to be in a guild called Krusty Socks. Yeah, but that's just wrong. I'm sorry. That is such a fucking teenage thing. If you're a teenager, maybe you do shit like that. Otherwise, no. They're old socks and they were on the way out. No. Because, oh my god. So the problem with that is what do you do then? Do you just throw the socks away afterwards? Or do you wash them? Because here's my problem with washing them. They're now in the water with all of your other clothes. It just seems fucking nasty. Like, no matter how you slice it just seems like nasty, nasty business. I'm sorry. No. You guys are fucking disgusting. I would never be okay with that. That of a jar? Why the hell would you have a jar? Well, it was in honor of one of the guys whose mom came screaming into his room about his crusty ass socks, yelling at him to find another way, all over Ventrilo during raid. Oh. Shit. Oh my god, I don't know what's worse. Oh my god, I don't know. Holy shit. I don't know what's worse. Your mum walking in on you or that. Like, that would be... Oh my god, that would be embarrassing. Like, jeez. Oh no. Oh, I'm genuinely... I feel shame. And it's not even me. Maybe as a GF, I know a girl, long story short, who'd ask her man to save a load so she could put it in the fridge for a face cream. No. No. Ooh, that's just wrong. On so many fucking levels, that's just wrong. Jesus. A little disgust. Oh! Oh, fuck no. Because, you're gonna kiss her at some point, and then you're gonna wonder, am I kissing my cum? Is it on her lips? Where did she fucking put this? Oh, you're gonna touch her face? And, no. Oh my god, that's a level of love connection that I never want to experience. Mercer, how you doing, bro? Thanks for the first time chat. Really appreciate it, bro. Did you hear the theory about Azeroth being a fifth old god? Yes, Mr. Demori, I've heard it. I'll make a video on it, I promise. Nate, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Bro, it tastes like pineapples? No, it fucking doesn't. She was studying to be an attorney, but we didn't ask anything after that. I don't know why that's relevant to anything. Like, that is just the worst. Oh my god. I don't know if you should date a girl like that. Like, if your girl comes into the room and she's like, hey, so would you mind saving your loads for me? Because I want to use it as skin cream. What kind of person are you dating at this point? Yeah, I don't know. I think you're dating a questionable person at that point. Rosefox, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with the slut. I mean, God bless the slutties, but it's just dirty. And not in the good way. It's not like come on my tits dirty. That's like, oh. It's the kind of dirt that you just don't like. She's gonna like look. Here's the thing, right? So I'm genuinely a little freaked out by this because There's so many thoughts that's going through my mind at this point of things that may happen that you're just going to look at this. So say, for example, you know, you go out with her parents, you know, for brunch or something, and then she kisses her dad, and you're sitting here going, I'm so sorry for the taste. I know her lips are a bit salty, but fuck. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is weird. Or she kisses her mum and you're like, well... I don't know. This is just... The levels of awkwardness that exists within this new found facial cream is just... I don't know if I could deal with that. That would be just... That would be too much for me. Look, I don't think I'm man enough for that. My testosterone levels are just not that high. I would be a pussy. I would just be like, nah, fam. This is not happening. Like, not fucking ever. I just tuned in. Maybe I didn't catch the whole thing. So, Rose Fox, there was a guy whose girlfriend asked him to save his load and put it in the fridge because she wanted to use it as facial cream. That's what the conversation is about. Beaver juice and some products are made from whale load. Admit cum is an important resource in this world. I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly what the I don't know exactly what the benefits would be of having cum all over your face, if that would actually do anything. I mean, you could probably make the point that it's filled with proteins and probably some minerals and shit that may be good for you or maybe good for your skin, but I would argue that the downsides outweigh the upsides here. If I'm honest, like, from my perspective, it seems like there's just way too many downsides to this new way of thinking. Fingers, how you doing, man? There are so many sus ingredients and products. Would you ever eat Rocky Mountain oysters? I don't know. Oh, those are testicles, right? No, I wouldn't. Come here for lore, and this is what I get. Mercer, welcome. This is what the fucking stream usually descends into. This conversation is so sus. Welcome to the stream. Look, there's a reason why this is called the Degeneration. There's a reason why this is the most degenerate chat in Twitch. Because this is the kind of shit that happens. I take no responsibility for it. I was the one who came up with that fucking story. But now we have that story and you all have to fucking live with this. Same as me. You are all now, the next time you jerk off, you're going to come and you're going to go, what if that was my girlfriend asking this? Like, you're going to remember this. This is going to stick with you for a while. Honestly, after dating guys and seeing some of their kinks, I feel like that's not the weirdest thing I've heard of. Rose Fox. It's not the weirdest kink, no. But it is quite odd. Because I don't even know if it's a kink. She wants to use it as a facial cream, which means she genuinely thinks that there are proteins and minerals in there that would be good for her. Kink is one thing. I mean, I don't judge people's kinks. They can have kinks and do whatever the fuck they want with it, right? I think sex between two people is an act that should be open to just about anything, right? As long as both people are very comfortable with it, you know, do whatever the hell you two want to do. But that's not a kink. That's more of a health choice or a beauty choice, right? What is your kink, Akko? To play Hogwarts Legacy for Aureus. I get a semi every single time I log in. And it felt like she was trying to sell it as an actual skin routine thing, not a kink, to clarify. Yeah, it genuinely seems like she thought there's some health benefits here. Sure it doesn't work though? I don't know, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is where my open-mindedness ends. Maybe cum on your face keeps you young forever. Maybe it cures cancer. Maybe I don't give a fuck finding out. I'd rather look like a, you know, a crumpled up ball sack than have cum on my face every day. Dude, the amount of throwing up I would do just applying that shit would be next level. I would be crying. The whole time. It would be a nightmare. Like, how the fuck would that even work? Like, how do you go through that? Sticking your hand into the jar, putting it all over your face. You know, adding a little bit more fucking protein to it as you're going. No, no, no. That's just wrong. Some chicks will steal your juice and have a child without guys' consent themselves. See, I don't understand how that works, to be fair, but I guess... Sure. I mean, if she wants to do that, as long as I'm not, like, held responsible for that child, it's not my fucking problem. Thought his beard had a shine to it lately? Fuck yourself, Avedon. My beard has a shine to it because of this. I've been using a bit of this. Just a little bit of beard cream, beard oil. Maybe dicks are so smooth because they get in contact with cum a lot. Or maybe they're just so smooth because we don't use them to walk on. Or, like, for anything other than, you know, nice things. Why not Buffelsfontein? I saw this and I'm, you know, just fucking bought it. I don't really care all that much. It's just nice to have. What was multiplayer? Among Us mode? Dude, that castle would be a nightmare to navigate. Read the ingredients of what? Of cum. 7. Or of this beard oil. The tissue inside of the vagina is the same tissue as inside the mouth. Okay. Avedon, why is that a fun fact? Okay, what's the ingredients in this? Free from ingredients of animal origins is what it says. There's no ingredient list on the bottle. So I have no idea what the ingredients are. But there's no animal products in it, according to that label at least. Which now makes me trust it less. Why are there no animal products in there? I would have liked a bit of cow dick. You know, ground up cow dick on your beard, I think works well. Coconut oil and other nut oil. Soybean oil. Yo, there's a fly in my room. How do I kill it, chat? I don't know. Get a fly killer? Like those SWAT thingies? Those fly swatter thingies? No, I think the ingredients would have been on the box, but I threw the box away, so I don't know what the fucking ingredients are now. Empire voiceover with new info we have. It is sus. Alright. Did you DM me with it? Where? I'm checking now. When was this? Dude, this is 6 years ago. Do you want us to re-listen to the whispers? Like, give them another listening to? Because I've done that a lot. Yeah, I do that a lot, bro. I go back and listen to the whispers all the time. Like, I spend a lot of time with these whispers. I love the whispers. But okay, we'll do it again. You know, just because maybe we do find something together especially with all of the knowledge that we have in World of Warcraft now and how the story have played out now. We might find something of value. So
a servant of the old gods. Let us consume it. There, a spy for N'Zoth. We should kill it. Do you see it? The poor host cannot be saved, only put down. A traitor to his world and to his kind. His end was never in question. Only who would deliver it. Another nameless brute of Sargeras, pretending to...
By the way, Miramu, thank you so much. 48 months. Part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're far too kind.
Aid these elves. Little do they know their fate. Disaster abounds here. Elf ruins filled with unquiet souls, ripe for harvest. The dragons are weak here. You would do well to exploit this fact. The Legion burrows deep here. If they burrow deeper, they may not like what they find.
See, there's constantly references of things under Azeroth. We have new whispers that we'll go through in a minute from Iridicon and Neltharion. It's not whispers, actually. It's things, sort of books in the game. But it speaks about something that is hidden underneath the Forbidden Reach that no one should ever go to. This is why they called it the Forbidden Reach. There's some kind of thing in there. Now, it could be that she simply referred to the Drakthir as what is hidden below there, but it could be something else. There's something under Azeroth. Now, again, you could say, well, they're just referring to N'Zoth here, but it might be far more than that, right? Because if I remember correctly, this was said somewhere in Val-Shara. If I'm not mistaken, I think this specific whisper comes from Val-Shara or from one of the Legion zones, which we know is not where N'Zoth was. So if they burrowed deeper there, they would not have found N'Zoth. Because we know that N'Zoth was all out into the fucking ocean, right? He was under the ocean. So therefore, what exactly is she referring to with the, if they go deeper, they will not like what they find?
So much fury in this soul. It will be a good harvest. Another tortured soul, long overdue for oblivion. I am more interested in his advisor, though. The recruitment of the Eridar was quite a win for Sargeras.
By the way, Rotio, really appreciate the gifted sub, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also to Tim the DK, thanks for the follow, man. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go back a little bit. Just want to hear this. Just want to hear this again.
The Eridar was quite a win for Sargeras. He desperately needed more intelligence in his war host.
Okay.
A corrupted corpse of a dragon. How dangerous could that possibly be? Another mind-warped servant.
So this is now... now that we know, that refers to Galakrond. A corrupted corpse of a dragon, how dangerous could that possibly be? That refers to Galakrond because we now know that Y'Shaarj was behind the corruption of Galakrond. Or not Y'Shaarj, Yogg-Saron was behind the corruption of Galakrond. And, interesting.
Of Xavius. A druid should have better control of his own mind, don't you think? Xavius's tricks are cunning. Why reveal yourself when you can control from afar? It is possible N'Zoth may be responsible for her form.
It's possible the source. Oh my god. It's possible the source. Okay. Let's just give back 10 seconds here.
Warped servant of Xavius. A druid should have better control of his own mind, don't you think? Xavius's tricks are cunning. Why reveal yourself when you can control from afar? It is possible N'Zoth may be responsible for her form, but her arrogance is all her own. Behold the wasted power of the Titans before you, done in their name, no less. Odin was a great enemy, until his own arrogance proved his undoing.
See, this line always bothered me. Odin was a great enemy until his own arrogance proved his undoing. Because the only thing that could have referred to is Helia and him being locked inside, you know, his own realm. I don't know if it's the eye thing, but it's just always been... Odin was a great enemy, but what do we know about Odin's fight against the old gods? This is why it's always baffled me. We don't know anything about that story. What did Odin do to the old gods? What battles transpired? We now know that Odin lied and hid a bunch of information from us about his time against the old gods. But to what extent? What exactly happened there?
You should ask him if he has considered Loken's final words to him. Go ahead.
Words to Hitler. Holy shit. Oh, wow. YouTube, you have to fix your fucking shit. But I do like the fact that even YouTube's automated system thinks that Odin is literally Hitler. I like that. I do like that. If you ask Logan that, if you ask Odin about Logan's final words, he actually he kills you. By the way, for those of you that didn't know.
Skovald seeks to join the ranks of the Destroyers, unaware that so many of those who dare are betrayed. The fallen aspect's lair is near. He was the strongest of them, and yet the easiest one for us to corrupt.
See, this is where I get why people think that Xal'atath may in fact be one of the old gods. Because she continuously speaks of us. The easiest one for us to corrupt. Now, the biggest question would be, us is the void. So she could just be referring to us as in the forces of the void and not necessarily us as in us old gods. Because we know that it was only N'Zoth that corrupted Neltharion. It wasn't the others. It was N'Zoth himself that corrupted Neltharion.
More of the Titans' failed experiments grow here unchecked. The Drogbar prove their failure as creators.
Wait, that's interesting. Hold up.
The fallen aspect's lair is near. He was the strongest of them, and yet the easiest one for us to corrupt. More of the Titans' failed experiments grow here unchecked. The Drogbar prove their failure as creators.
So there's a little bit more information now. We know that there were things that were created long before the Titans ever came to Azeroth. Xal'atath here exclaims that some of what the Titans created were failures, things that didn't work. Could it be that a lot of the Titans what the Titans tried to create came out as mindless? Because the Drogbar is pretty sort of primal, right?
The Tauren here are remarkably resilient to corruption. considering their origins.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. The Tauren are remarkably, considering their origins. This drove us nuts. Now, the question is, will we find out what their origins actually were from the new Bane questline? They do seem like, the Drogbar do seem like failed earthen, Moni, which again just makes you wonder, where does the actual earthen come from? Where does the actual beings of the elements come from? When so much of what the Titans tried to create appeared to be, well, almost less than, if that makes sense.
I long for the day our masters can truly pass into this realm. You have only seen fragments, shadows, the faintest of echoes. Ask the ethereals what one of these manifestations is capable of. The nearness of the void here is comforting. I was used.
Our masters, but again, that she would say that as one of the void creatures. That doesn't necessarily prove that she is one of the old gods, does it?
In the sacrifice of many creatures in a place like this. Every death brought us closer to the complete corruption of this world. I remember the Dark Iron fondly. Modgood was so easy to influence, such was her hate. Imagine her fury when I abandoned her to the Wildhammer at the worst time. I can be very easy to lose. Remember that.
Yeah.
We may face some of my brethren in this conflict, a prospect that delights me. Their power will be mine. They will pay for what was done to me long ago.
This was said at Orgrimmar. That line. They will pay for what was done to me so long ago. That was said in Orgrimmar. When you enter Orgrimmar, those words are spoken. Let's just listen again.
A prospect I can be very easy to lose. Remember that. We may face some of my brethren in this conflict, a prospect that delights me. Their power will be mine. They will pay for what was done to me long ago.
Obviously, that's her being put in the blade. No? That has to be what she's referring to. The thing that was done to her was when they imprisoned her within the blade. We know that that's exactly what Rathian wanted to do with N'Zoth, was stab him with Xalatath and then imprison him within the blade. Because the blade is ultimately a prison. Perhaps more evidence that Xalatath is indeed our fifth old god, but she was too weak to fight off the other old gods, and as a result of that, she was imprisoned and used as a tool, and the only way she could ever be released was by serving N'Zoth, making sure that she delivered us to N'Zoth at the exact right time, because if you remember, after she delivered us to N'Zoth, N'Zoth finally gave her freedom. He finally allowed her to leave the blade.
The god of the deep writhes in his prison, breaking free ever so slowly. You should hurry and defeat the fallen titan. There are greater battles yet to fight. It is ironic that the weakest of us may be the ultimate victor.
The weakest of us. Again, that us. The weakest of us. Again, speaking to... Because here she is absolutely referring to the old gods. Dude, is she an old god? That's the question.
And Titan, there are greater battles yet to fight. It is ironic that the weakest of us may be the ultimate victor. Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, Yasharaj, and... well, only one would remain to consume the world that was always meant to be.
She cuts off before she says Nazoth, and we always thought it's because she didn't want to reveal him. But it doesn't mean that there's only one name left. Because she does say of us, the weakest of us. Of us suggests she is one of them. Because all of the other old god creations refer to the old gods as their masters. Because the old gods are their creators. The old gods created them. They are their masters. They serve these old gods. Xal'atath seems to be the only one that she doesn't serve. At least she only served in order to gain her freedom. She did not serve as a... she did not serve because she was created or because she had to. Polycotic, self-insert. Do we know who imprisoned Xal'atath? No. We have no idea. We know that it had to have been some of her brethren, because she literally just earlier said, they will pay for what was done to me so long ago.
Delicious. Every little death helps. Enjoy that? Boring. Did you feel it cease to exist? It was thought his kind was incorruptible. A lesson for my brothers, I suppose. Loken did fine work turning her, but in truth, Odin's arrogance takes most of the credit. Ymron was a fine tool. He did more to spread the blessing of flesh than any other of his kind. A beast of stone.
Yeah. She's talking about constructs. Because we did think that constructs wouldn't be corruptible. And still, they did manage to do so. What if what they've done to her is the gift of flesh? Because she is the only one with a body. It's possible. Yes, Ymron.
Who ignorantly throws around power he barely controls. He should be put down before he ruins our plans. Though he is not one of our servants, he has heard our whisper.
One of our servants. She keeps saying our. It could just be that our suggests ours as in all void forces, but our could also be old god, actual old god.
They darkened him forever. The walls between realms are thin here, so easy to tear open. Do you know what would happen if true shadow and light met here? The research into the void here is commendable, but ultimately futile. How could you possibly understand what the Titans did not? I know the Naru consider us horrors.
The Titans did not. Could you possibly understand what the Titans could not? Man, just listening to these, you sort of get the feeling like these whispers are going to become far more important in the months to come.
To be resisted. We do not share this view. They are merely beloved brethren that lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time.
They will return to their masters in time. Hold up. We've listened to this whisper many times over, but I think I have an idea of what she's on about here.
This view, they are merely beloved not. I know the Naru consider us horrors to be resisted. We do not share this view. They are merely beloved brethren that lost the true path. They will return to their masters in in time.
Is there a possibility, however slight, is there a possibility, chat, that the Naru find their ultimate origin within the void? And that the light corrupted the Naru and turned them into light. Here's why I say that. We have evidence of Naru turning dark. And according to Locust Walker, the only time that ever really happens is when mortals are involved. Now remember, mortals carry the gift of flesh, a gift directly from the Dark Masters. Yeah, they are formless. Naru and the Void are needed for each other. There is no shadow without light. Yeah, but that's like getting into more of a real world discussion of it. The fact that Zaratath here says, and she doesn't just say that they are brethren, she says that they are beloved brethren that have simply lost the true path. They will return to their masters in time. Dude, very interesting.
Oh, you've gathered quite the group of followers. It is fortunate they are focused on this incursion and not the true war. The scope of it might destroy your minds.
By the way, Truffles of Gaming, 24 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're far too kind, sir. We should grab an Naru and try to corrupt it with Arcane.
Do the Naru speak of the eternal conflict? That the entire history of your world is but a fraction of the time that has passed? Of those that came before the Draenei? No? Zay?
See that again. The eternal conflict. Because in this whisper, she speaks of the Naru not as if they're beloved brethren, right? But as if they've been at war with each other since the beginning of time almost.
Alias uses the power of his new master well. Warping the mind of a demigod is no mean feat. Corrupting the guardians of the dream is a bold move, but Xavius may be overreaching. He would be better off quietly spreading the nightmare's influence instead of raising such alarm. Another seed of corruption planted in death. An unquiet spirit will wander in anger and grow in pain. Easy prey for the god of the deep. Almost completely gone, as if it never existed. But the rift is deep and vast, and somewhere down there it stirs.
Again, this refers to us being inside the Emerald Dream. And somewhere down there it stirs. Again, we know that that is not where N'Zoth was. There's another whisper that I want to highlight for you guys. N'Zoth, one of his whispers, I believe coming from Il'gynoth, speaks about Azeroth and how her dreams are our dreams. Now, the initial reading of that whisper is simply something akin to they have corrupted Azeroth, or they're close to corrupting Azeroth, and that this is now, Azeroth is now starting to dream their dreams. But what if it truly is the other way around? Our dreams are her dreams, in that our dreams are literally her dreams. She is the one that created us. And somewhere down there, it stirs. Everything speaks about something down there. If they keep going, they will not like what they find. even though they're nowhere close to where N'Zoth would be hidden in the Emerald Dream. If we keep going down there, there is something that stirs. What if Azeroth is ultimately the mother of the old gods? Azeroth isn't an old god. This is where my theory deviates from the other sort of old god theories. I don't believe that Azeroth is an old god. I believe that Azeroth is the mother of the old gods. She is the one that gives life. And from what we can tell, it is only the old gods that had that ability. The Titans could not create life. We heard it. Xal'atath here says it. Their experiments failed. When they created life, it was almost broken life. It was a cheap imitation of what had already existed. Azeroth, on the other hand, created the elemental forces. Azeroth created so much life. The dream itself is where life is created, and it, in my opinion, isn't a coincidence that it's called the Dream of Azeroth or Azeroth's dream, because that is literally what it is. It's her dream realm. It's where she dreams. So what if she is the mother of the old gods? She created them.
Something has changed. The last prison weakens. We must prepare. It appears the prison of N'Zoth is...
Or we could go even more big brain, and we could start to fuse some of these whispers. Xal'atath says that the Naru view us as horrors to be resisted, but we do not share this view. They are simply beloved brethren that have lost the true path, and they will return to their masters in time. What if Azeroth is the mother of all things? So when the Void states, when Xal'atath states that the Naru have simply lost their way, she's not in fact referring to the Naru ever being part of the Void, but rather to the Naru not realizing that they are part of Azeroth, and therefore they are part of everything. They are also part of the Void. They're not to be resisted. They're not to be hated because they are brothers at the end of everything.
Is not as strong as it once was. What you see is a tiny growth of the behemoth that may yet consume your world. Great dragons bent to the will of Xavius, who serves the god of the deep. Instead of breathing life, she consumes all around her. Another defender of the Titans brought low. Every death makes it easier. Perhaps now his misery will end, though I doubt it. Xavius, running from one master to the next, scrambling for power, yet defeated again and again. The god of the deep picks a poor champion. Or is there something else at play? A powerful dragon could be a powerful tool. Alas, gone are the days of Galacrond.
Yep.
These three have enjoyed the secret favor of N'Zoth for long enough. Sadly, their reaving days are done. Such arrogance, even for a long-lived elf. The taste of her life force is exquisite. She claims to know the future, but those who have lived far longer than her know the truth. Her desperate bid to remain in control dooms her people. Here is one who has caught the merest glimpse of your grim reality. It warped his mind forever. Long has this one's time been coming. A true servant of the fallen Titan, he seeks the doom of all things, as if that would really save them from the void. An interesting amalgamation.
Seeks the doom of all things as if that will really save them from the void.
variation of fell species. I wonder, are there more of its kind? An interesting mutation of an ancient species. Its shell is nearly impregnable. Nearly. The spawn of the Titans infest this area. Despite our gift of flesh, they still worship those false gods. Helya and her cult are strong here. So close to the truth, yet so far. Do not be impressed by tall icons of the Titans which stand here. The towers of sacrifice in Nyalotha dwarf these pathetic temples. This city of elves pales in comparison to the sleeping.
Again, to sort of fill in some color here, we now know, thanks to the book of Tyr that we found in Dragonflight, that there was civilization before the Titans arrived, and this gives even more insights into that. The Towers of Sacrifice dwarfs these Titan constructs. The Titans destroyed all of the quote-unquote civilization and destroyed all records of what was here prior to their arriving, because in their mind, nothing could have been created if it had not been ordered first. So they basically made it seem like Azeroth was simply a place of chaos, where everything was destroyed and everything was getting destroyed, not wanting us to know what Azeroth truly looked like.
City. Suramar. Its noble citizens, greedily slurping at their world's very lifeblood. The fallen elves cower behind their wall. They know no other way. To see Yogg-Saron's nightmare in full bloom fills me with jealousy. And some pride. Here you will see why the Legion's invasion is ultimately futile.
The way she speaks about the old gods, she doesn't speak in reverence to them, as if one would when one was created by them. She speaks about them as equals. She calls them by name. She gets jealous of their creations, but also a little pride for what they had created, almost condescendingly so.
All can be corrupted, dreams and demons alike. The elves here are desperate to save themselves from the nightmare, while the demons seek to harness its might. Both will fail. When do you think she turned?
The problem there, Digital Pope, would be that the children of the old gods don't really, they would have full reverence, because like the old gods, they were created within their image. So they would have been reverent. All of the other servants of the old gods we've ever heard have referred to the old gods as masters, or lords, or gods. They don't speak to them as equals, because they are not equal to those who have created them. They got locked in the house while the rest of the kids got to play outside. That's what it feels like to me. That's how this reads. When I listen to her whispers, she feels like a sibling.
Centuries ago, she hides her hunger for power behind a cloak of suffering and righteousness. This one is old, but still not one of the first. These creatures were too hungry for magic to obey our masters, though they still prove useful from time to time. Another fool who believed Illidan's lies of sacrifice and righteousness. Tormented, he turns on everyone. Her mother was more impressive. This one's hunger is uncontrollable, and her tactics overused. An easy target. Really? These thugs of Sargeras are so interchangeable. This one is good with his axe. Oh, how unique. How far the Manastorms have fallen. Relying on crude machines and weak arcane wizardry did them no favors. Still, they had their uses. For this idiotic pustule of Nazoth to have lived so long, it does little to refute my opinion of this world's new owners.
The way she speaks, I can't help but think she is the fifth old god. Now, some of you have made mention during this. Why does she have a body when the others do not? Perhaps a side effect of the blade. That's my best guess. Her soul in the blade, body left behind. Well, she could use any body that she slay, right? So perhaps her being in the blade, just her essence, no longer her form, her true form. She could take the image of one that she had slain before, and that's why we see her presented as an elf. Vitamin being big slimy beings. Dragons can use visage. Why not old gods? We don't have evidence of the old gods ever using visage, though. Truffle Shuffle, that would be the only reason why it's probably difficult to see how that would happen. The sacrifice, they're masked. They could probably have a body too, but that seems significantly weaker. Maybe. Can't wait for her update. Sexy mommy model in future expansions. Oh yeah, she's gonna look boss. Maybe she is the Void Lord and the old gods are her creations that trapped her. No, because she does say in one of her whispers, I cannot wait for our masters to truly walk this land. You have not seen them yet. So she does refer to the masters, in other words, the void, at some point. In a new Ultimate dungeon or using a spell called Curse of Stone. Is it safe to assume that the Titans actually turned original Azerothian races to stone metal? That's why they devolve so quickly when they stay away from any Titan influence. Zaston. Ooh, coming in here with the fucking curveball. Bro, what a thought. I would say it's highly possible. Yeah. I would say that's entirely possible. The Titans arrive. They gift the Curse of Stone in order to turn living beings into mindless servants, and the Titans then gift, or the old gods then gift the Curse of Flesh, which of course turns these beings back into flesh. It is interesting that both of these are curses. Now, the Titan's curse, the Curse of Stone, AK Cruiser, by the way, thanks for the follow. Truffle Shuffle, I did say thank you for the sub, right? What it could be is the old god creations would be all over the place, right? They would look like old god creations. The Titans, in their constant quest for order, would then give them the Curse of Stone, turning them into what would look like dwarfs and, the Titan constructs as we know them today. The Gift of Flesh would then turn those newly formed ordered beings back into flesh. And this is why we now have dwarfs and gnomes and things of that nature. That would be my assumption, at least. Rose Fox, by the way, tier 1, 3 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're from the Clips channel. Love the Warhammer vids. A big Warhammer nerd. Hey, bro. Very happy to have you here. Thank you so much for the first time chat. Also, Hanwolf, thanks for the first time chat, dude. Really appreciate that. She had a body, the blade. Who is to say what is a body? Tentacles is a body. Eyes, a blade is a body. Material as any other. Maybe, but I mean, I see where you're getting to, like what you're getting at. But of course, in this instance, we are talking about body as in one of the mortal races. So why does she present herself as one of the mortal races? Albiwar, from what I understand, curses would be separate things. So warlock curses, for example, historically have always been exclusive. So, for example, a warlock cannot have, I think it's still like this actually. A warlock cannot have two curses on a target at one time. So, you can either give them the curse of feeblement, which makes them weaker, or the curse of entanglement or some shit like that. I can't remember what it's called, that makes them slower, but you can't have both. The one will replace the other. So, curses are a unique magical form that can only Curse of Feeble and Curse of Tongues. That's the one I have it on. You can only have one on a target. You can't have two, and they are separate from any other form of magic, at least for warlocks. No longer different schools. Although perhaps never different schools. Doesn't um no, they're still part of the Shadow School or the Foul School, depending on, right? But I think that might just be for gameplay reasons. I don't know what the lore reasons would be or what the lore back would be there. Gameplay reasons, it makes sense that they would make them part of the normal school of magic so that if you corrupt a warlock spellcasting, all of his spells are now sort of locked behind the interrupt. What the lore would be of that, I'm not sure. Because we do know that there is a difference between gameplay and lore. So Blizzard will oftentimes do things in gameplay in order to make the game easier to play, even though it's not necessarily lore centric or specific to lore. Um, yeah, I genuinely don't know. I would have to look into that. 4-week raid night, 0 warlock join raid. What happened? Even my guild lock quit the game. I don't know. Are warlocks bad at the minute? I have no idea. Warlocks are playing just fine. I'm enjoying them. Targets the anima. That's why it's shadow. From my understanding of it, at least, most of our curses will not just do damage. So if you look at our curses, the ones that we have, they'll usually do damage, steal life. Not do damage. They will steal life. They will weaken a target. They will do things. They will limit the target in some way, shape, or form. It won't just be straight up damage magic. But again, I'm speaking. I'm just guessing here. I don't know what the actual answers would be. Yeah, it cripples the target in some way, shape, or form. Like you would imagine a curse to do, right? So what if these curses are the origins of the light and void? It could be. Master Silverhand, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for the first time chat as well. Really appreciate having you here, man. The last prison in which Nazoth is maybe the fifth old god, and not even in prison, but resides in a faraway land which isn't discovered yet. Well, we already know what that land would be. So, Mercer, let's say you are correct. There is a place, we haven't found that place yet, it's not been revealed to us, but there is a place where the heretics fled to. It's discussed in Tyr's book. There's an island, the heretics, Avalor, that's the place, thank you, Ace. Avalor is a place where the heretics escape to, and Avaloran, sorry, yes. And they could not take it back. Like, they sent so many expeditions, they sent so many warring parties, and they lost every single time to the heretics. Now, the heretics, from my reading of the lore, the heretics are Titan Keepers that saw the truth, that realized that all of this is a lie. And they left to this Avaloran place. Now, why would they leave to Avaloran? Perhaps because that is where the fifth and final Old God resides. Because we see Xal'atath open a portal, but we don't know where that portal went to. We just know that Xal'atath opened a portal and walked through it. We don't know if that portal simply took Xal'atath to Avaloran, because that is where the final bastion of the Void resides. I think they are going to add a new side to the map. That's my guess, at least. I think they will. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have one final story that we have to cover today. And it is actually quite a big one. So this is new stuff coming from the PTR. Massive spoiler alert for anyone that doesn't want to get spoiled. This was shared by Cassiel on Discord, so thank you so much for that. It's about 3 days ago that we learned about this. There's still a lot that we don't know, but we'll go through it and hopefully you'll understand. So we know that the patch 10.1, right now, all of the evidence that we get from the game suggests that patch 10.1 is going to take place in a zone known only as the Underground. Something that is underground. Something happened there. But okay, Iridikron and Nalfarian. Khadgar. What is it about Iridikron that vexes you so? You guys know this. Nosdormu, of the three that remain, Veranoth and Virak were ever loyal to the Incarnate's ideals, but it was Iridikron who truly embraced the war, the last captured and the most difficult to contain. At the end, he struck terrible bargains to keep their cause alive. His violent desperation makes him dangerous. I believe the other Incarnates never knew the truth of his depravity. So, this, of course, it's interesting that every single being that is connected to the Earth comes up with these bargains, but you'll see where these bargains lead. Once we get into the newly released sort of books, in-game books. Now, these books are going to be relatively cool because you'll get the books, and as you go through the story, more and more pages will be added to those books. So as we go through the Forbidden Reach, more and more pages will be added to the book that you can keep reading on. But okay, so here's the first page. What follows are translations of correspondence between the Black Dragon, Adamanthia, and Nalfarian, the aspect of Earth. At the time of this translation, I can confirm that neither I nor any Drakthir I have spoken to or are able to fully remember Adamanthia. We have only fragments. Her origins and identity are mysterious, yet we feel drawn to her for reasons beyond recollection. It is as if she holds a part of us in her, sustained in more than just memory. Now you may peruse her words in this humble volume. May this transcription help spark memories for worthy Drakthir who read it. Reader, below are the words as best we could transcribe and translate of Adamanthia, as recovered from her journal entries in the Forbidden Reach. Adamanthia is a name we strain to hear across the gulf of history. Some Drakthir have experienced sparks of dream, memory, or reverie that feature her, but like so many of our memories, the full picture is denied us. As you read her words within this tome, we hope you may have further recollections. It is my hope these words will help other Drakthir by providing some insight as to our origins and those dragons we once served. And then we have Adamantia's timeline. Now, here's the first book. Transcription of Sending Stone, The Prisoner. Lord Nalfarian, I bring news. The Reach quaked today with the wrath of Razageth. Yet I am happy to report that the seals over her makeshift prison in your vault have held. The enchantments Maligos placed there should remain intact for many ages of this world, even without magical maintenance. Our prisoner is still able to exert her influence over the weather on this island. I am worried that she might get a message out, given enough time. For now, however, our only cause for concern should be what would happen if the other incarnates learned of her presence here. I will once again remind my Lackwood servants to destroy my sending stones after their messages have been sent. Master Silverhand, tier 1 sub, really appreciate it, fam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Entry, the Cretius. We sealed the Cretius today. Maligos asked for volunteers. 3 of his zealots and their retinue chose to be entombed with the Drakthir. I must hurry my research. The magic of Maligos is strong, but I still question this course of action. So clearly she was not on board with the ultimate sort of stasis that the Drakthir would be placed in after the destruction of the Titan object. My research into stasis magic continues apace. Nalfarian's inquiries are relentless, though he will not say why. My brother is upset. Something about a calamity befalling his work. He grows ever more distant. Nalfarian is beside himself. He says it's all falling apart, that it's too soon, that they need to be held, to be contained. It is done. His creations are in stasis. I have done my best to ensure that they remain undisturbed. My brother is upset. I feel like this is a little huge. Like, just slightly. My brother is upset. In other words, Nalfarian had a sister that we've never known about, and that is probably still alive. Entry, silence. We were warned to tell no one, not even the other aspects. No one must learn of these Drakthir. No one must know what lies beneath the surface of the Reach. Now, here's where I again dislike the wording, because the wording can suggest two things at the same time. The wording here can suggest that what lies beneath the Reach is nothing other than the Drakthir. Or that no one must know that we've done to the Drakthir what we have done, but then also that no one must know what lies beneath the Reach, the surface of the Reach. Either one of these. Is it shame or pride? Either way, Dragonkind will always remember this Reach is forbidden. Let that be its fitting, I don't know what the hell that word means, let's just see. What the hell does this word mean? I don't even know how to pronounce this word.
Sobriquet.
Sobriquet. A person's nickname. Sobriquet. Why not just use nickname? Let that be its fitting sobriquet. All who dare trespass upon this terrain are interlopers to our blighted realm, these lands of legacy, this forbidden Reach. And then we have entry, relics. I have attempted to employ other Titan relics within the Warder's arsenal. Not even the Hammer of Kaskarath is capable of reasserting order in any meaningful way. Order magic still fails to take hold. Now, this, you will remember that Nalfarian destroys, or during his fight with Razageth, the hand glove thing that he was using, the thing that controlled the minds of the Drakthir, got destroyed. And throughout this, you'll see something weird happened. As soon as this artifact was destroyed, the Drakthir not only lost all of their memories, like, not immediately, it wasn't in an instant that they lost their memories. It was more gradual. Over time, their memories just went. And the control that Nalfarian once had over them would just sort of dissipate, as they would not remember the origins of their species, the master that once created them, as it stood, right? So this gift sort of thing, this Titan relic, and then as you can see here, Nalfarian told Adamanthia to start experimenting with other Titan relics. So basically use the Hammer of Kaskarath, use the other Titan relics, try and reassert that control over the Drakthir. Then we have the entry experiments, failure, again. 101 Drakthir have been released from stasis, yet in each experiment, the subject eventually regains all memory and retains none of their former mental conditioning. Sorry, it's the other way around, excuse me. I completely misread it. The relic removed all memory of who they were and only conditioned them to fight on behalf of Deathwing. But once the conditioning, or once the relic was destroyed, memory comes back, and they don't seem to retain any of the mental conditioning that they had. So any of the brainwashing that had happened seems to wear off. It is becoming increasingly clear what has been done cannot be undone. Transcription of Sending Stone initial report. Now here's where things get very interesting. My aspect. I have made a discovery. You were correct in presuming that order magic may not be enough to re-establish control over the Drakthir. However, I have learned over my countless experiments that this may not be necessary. I have confirmed that the Drakthir are not broken. Drakthir with free will are powerful, dangerously so, yet they are not mindless cretins. Their hearts and minds can be won over just as any free-thinking mortal might. With your permission, I would like to awaken more of the Waynes, so that we might explore this assertion further. Transcription of Receiving Stone. Final warning. This is from Nalfarian. I told you it gets interesting here. This is your final warning, Adamanthia. If you continue in your defiance, you will become an example to all any foolishly entertain such asinine aspirations. Your suffering will span millennia. Even death will not release you. Any who look upon you will gaze upon your torment and despair. Cease this folly, or retribution awaits you. And then she sends, my aspect. I thought I was doing everything you asked and more. The extraction of Black Dragonflight essence from the Drakthir has gone smoothly, though I worry it may permanently cripple their abilities. Yet you command it and I obey. So, an answer here for anyone that was wondering, where is the black magic? We have the red, we have the bronze, we have the green, we have the blue. But where is the black magic? Well, for some reason, Nalfarian